In this video, you're going to be taking a look at Zuckuss for the Black Series 6-inch line. This is the last bounty hunter I need to add to my collection for the Black Series Empire Strikes Back group. Very excited to finally add him and get this action figure open. So I did want to do an unboxing for this because Zuckuss here does have a little bit of a unique history about him. So if you recall, he was released at the very end of 2017 and into 2018. And for the United States, he was labeled as a Toys R Us exclusive initially. And he ended up being the very last Toys R Us exclusive action figure in the US. But this was during that transition phase where Zuckuss began making his rounds around the world. And I think for around this same time, Toys R Us was already giving its indication that they were going to go under in the US. Well, Zuckuss, I don't think, had quite made his way to the States yet to be on Toys R Us shelves. So, and then between the time he started making his rounds in the States, around that same time, Toys R Us had already announced that they were going to go under. So I forget exactly how that worked, if Zuckuss actually made his way to Toys R Us, because at this point, Toys R Us was already liquidating everything. Everything was already on clearance, and of course deals were falling through. So I'm not sure if I recall. I don't recall seeing Zuckuss at Toys R Us. I did do some shopping at Toys R Us during the time they were going out, but I don't know if anywhere else in the States Zuckuss made his way to his exclusive retailer. So because everything kind of fell through with that, I think he made his way to either GameStop or he just became a standard retail release. Either way, fast forward 6-7 years later, and Zuckuss is not too hard of an action figure to get a hold of. I would say Dengar and Forlam are the most affordable ones out of the 6, but Zuckuss is definitely in the number 3 spot, at this time at least. I only paid $22 for him, which is not a bad deal at all. In fact, that's just below retail value now for a lot of the Black Series action figures. But kind of an interesting bit of history. It's an exclusive action figure that didn't really quite make its way to its intended retailer, and then it ended up getting bounced around a little bit until basically now you can find them just about anywhere. Online, that is. Without saying anything further, take a closer look at this package here real quick. So Zuckuss is a Gand, and he's allegedly force sensitive as well. Someone in the comments mentioned that in my 3 3/4 inch review of Zuckuss. I wasn't really too aware of that. I do know the Gand are a pretty powerful species. Image of him there. He does not have a number because he's an exclusive, or was an exclusive. A little description about him. So again, bounty hunter Zuckuss heeded the Empire's call for mercenaries to locate the Millennium Falcon and bring her fugitive crew to justice, receiving his orders on the bridge of Darth Vader's Superstar Destroyer. Not saying anything further, let's just go ahead and get this guy open. So at this time, we still technically need Zuckuss, I think, in the TVC line. I suppose if you count the misprint original release back in 2010 of him where he's labeled as a Forlam, I imagine a lot of people would want a regular Zuckuss action figure on a single card. So hopefully we get that soon. And just an initial impression of this action figure, I'm really happy with it. He is an appropriate height. Gander generally a shorter species, and that's reflected here. Yeah, very nice. Really like the overall paint job on him. Looks very nice. Head sculpt looks great. Has that bug-like look to him. Kind of similar to Forlom here, who is his basically his bounty hunting partner. Does have all these pouches strapped around him. Has these breathing tubes as well. Have this piece here, which I assume is supposed to be like a respirator of some sorts. And it's strapped all the way around him. And then you have this control box back here. Have his robes here, which look really good. Some very nice texturing detail on it. I suppose you could take them off if you wanted to, but there's not really a need to. And you'd probably have to take off his, I'm not really sure if this would be considered a bandolier or not, but it's basically the equivalent of one. And he does have this apron basically right here, which is plastic. It looks pretty good. In terms of his articulation, he is pretty much all super articulated. He is a little restricted in the head articulation because of the breathing tubes here, but it's not that big of a deal. Would recommend being careful because you don't want to risk breaking these off. I imagine over time they could potentially get bitter or brittle. Yeah, hinged shoulders, elbows, hinged wrists. And joint at the torso, but it's kind of restricted because of this strap here. Hinged hips, swivel thigh, and hinged knees, which, let's see if he's got the pins. Yeah, he does. So this must have been just towards the end of the era where the action figure still had the pins. And then, of course, rocker ankles. In terms of accessories, it's pretty light. He has his rifle here. Kind of looks like a shotgun a little bit. Looks pretty good. Imagine he holds it all right in his hand here. Don't think you're really going to be able to get his finger around the trigger there, but I suppose that's okay. Can at least get him to hold the rifle with two hands. Look at that. Very nice. Does seem a little difficult to try and get to stand. I just have to work with him a little bit. Yeah, a lot of nice detailing all around. A lot of nice textures, and paint looks good. Tell Zuckuss has seen some action. Thick material for his robe here as well. Looks like felt even. I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about this action figure. Let's go ahead and get all these guys grouped together. He is with his partner, Forlam. And I think we kind of have to have Boba Fett front and center there. Whoops. Look at that. After long last, I originally got Boba Fett here back in 2013. 2015, I got IG-88. And then last year, 2023, I got Dengar. Then 2024, I got all three of these. Bosk I got last August. Then Forlam and Zuckuss here for September. So 11 years in the making almost of trying to complete this bounty hunter group. And it's finally here. And they all look great together. I'm glad I finally did it. Happy to add Forlam and Zuckuss and Bosk finally to the collection. And I'll be sure to do a dedicated video featuring all 6 of these together. We'll do a comparison with their 3 3/4 inch counterparts. But anyways, I think that's pretty much all I can tell you about Zuckuss here. So would I recommend him for your collection? I totally would. If you need to complete the Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters, he's an essential. But even if you're not too particular about that, he's still a great action figure as is. I think they did a great job on the scale. Overall, the sculpting work is nice. He's a neat looking bounty hunter. Interesting character as well. Of all the species in Star Wars, I think I've spent a lot of time studying the Gand and have a lot of interaction with them, like in Knights of the Old Republic 2, for instance. So yeah, very interesting character. Great action figure. Happy it's finally part of my collection. And prices are relatively reasonable for him. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out some links in the description if you haven't done so already. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.